Welcome to a journey of transformation on our channel, where we discover that true power lies within the depths of our spirit. Meet Ace, the smallest member of a vast flock staring into the abyss, with eyes full of dreams but wings too weak. The flock believed in ancient legends, trusting that colorful magic feathers were the only secret required to conquer the endless open skies. An elder bestowed upon Ace a shimmering token, promising that this simple object would instantly compensate for his lack of physical strength. Clinging to the talisman, Ace gathered every ounce of courage, sprinting towards the edge, believing the magic would lift him up high. But gravity is a harsh teacher, and the magic feather drifted away uselessly as Ace tumbled down into the cold, dark shadows. He crashed into the safety of a bush, surviving the fall, but suffering a bruised body and a shattered belief in miracles. Gazing upward at the soaring flock, a wave of despair washed over him, realizing that relying on luck had only brought failure. He saw the trinket caught in a twig, revealing itself as nothing more than a common feather, stripping away the comforting illusion. In that moment of truth, Ace rejected the lie. He decided that if he were to fly, it would be through strength. The path of discipline began not in the sky, but on the ground, running against the wind until his lungs burned fire. He flapped his wings until they ached, engaging in a silent battle, with the air turning his weakness into a forged weapon. Every time the gale knocked him down, he rose again with greater determination, refusing to stay defeated by the invisible forces of nature. Seasons changed and the weather turned harsh, yet Ace remained steadfast, his persistent efforts slowly sculpting a body capable of conquering the storm. The others mocked his strange methods, unable to understand why anyone would choose to fight the wind rather than wait for comfort. Ace ignored their jeers, discovering a profound truth. The very resistance that pushes you back is what lifts you higher if faced correctly. He leaned into the pressure, and for the first time his feet left the earth, suspended by the very force he once feared. It was no longer a struggle but a dance, as he learned to manipulate every feather to master the chaotic currents of air. One fateful day, the sky turned the color of bruised iron, and a terrifying silence fell before the arrival of a monstrous storm. Panic seized the flock, as their lucky charms were ripped away by the gale, leaving them defenseless against the raw power of nature. Even the strongest among them were tossed like rag dolls, their untrained wings unable to find purchase in the violent, swirling chaos. But Ace stepped forward into the howling void, his small frame anchored by a heavy resolve that had been forged in pain. He launched himself not away from the danger but directly into it, meeting the adversary he had spent a lifetime preparing for. The wind roared in protest, but Ace tilted his wings, transforming the crushing pressure into a massive lift that shot him skyward. He navigated the treacherous currents with grace, dodging debris and weaving through the chaos that had grounded everyone else in fear. From the shadows, the flock watched in disbelief as the smallest among them conquered the very beast that had brought them to their knees. He pushed past the limits of fear, ascending through the thunder and lightning, driven by a will that burned brighter than the storm. Breaking through the ceiling of darkness, he emerged into a realm of blinding golden light, leaving the turbulence far below him. Here in the silence above the chaos, Ace found peace, floating effortlessly in the warmth of the sun he had earned. As he caught a glimpse of his reflection against the burning sun, he saw something that took his breath away completely. Staring back at him was not the frail creature he was born as, but a giant spirit of immense power and majesty. The epiphany struck deep. His true size was never defined by his feathers, but by the magnitude of his indomitable will. With a heart now boundless, he dove back into the darkness, choosing to use his strength to serve those still trapped in fear. He moved among them like a beacon, guiding the panicked flock, showing them how to turn their struggle into stability and flight. Inspired by his courage, the flock rallied, finding their own strength to form a formation that cut through the gale as one. Ace led the charge, a tiny general, commanding an army, guiding them safely through the eye of the storm to sanctuary. When the skies finally cleared, they landed on solid ground, forever changed by the revelation that they needed no magic to survive. The flock gathered around their savior, their eyes filled with a newfound respect for the hero who had once been the outcast. Ace looked at his wings, realizing that while he hadn't grown in size, he had grown into a giant in spirit and capability. The fake charms lay forgotten in the mud, discard relics of a time when they believed salvation came from outside themselves. A new generation began to run against the wind, embracing the hard path of discipline over the easy allure of false hope. Ace took to the skies once more, not to fight, but to celebrate the freedom that only true strength and preparation can provide. He became a living legend, a timeless reminder that our potential is not written in our circumstances, but forged in our choices. We learned that we must not hide from our challenges, but use the very pressure that weighs us down to rise up. The limits of a person are never defined by their physical form or environment, but solely by the boundaries of their will. Standing on the peak of success, Ace understood that the journey of hardship was the only magic that ever truly existed. The wind continued to blow, but it was no longer an enemy. It was a partner in the endless dance of flight. Like Ace, we all face our own storms, and we all have the choice to seek a magic feather or build our wings. So let us cast aside the crutches of superstition and embrace the grind, for that is where our true giant selves await. As Ace disappears into the golden horizon, he leaves us with the courage to face our own headwinds with an open heart. May his story remind you that you are capable of greatness, even when the world tells you that you are too small. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of resilience. We hope Ace's story has ignited a fire within your soul. Remember to subscribe to our channel at https://www.youtube.com/watchv=WXIHENNFMI for more powerful stories that challenge your limits.